Hurricane Ida is still pounding southeast Louisiana. Hello, I'm Mike Nasa with continuing video update coverage here on the YouTube channel. As of 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time on this Sunday night, August 29th, we still have a very powerful hurricane, very well organized, like the National Hurricane Center said. Even though it's been over land all day and all night, this thing is still a powerful hurricane, packing quite a wallop there. You can see it's currently over Lake Borgne and Lake Pontchartrain, just pushing water. Storm surge rising again in areas of Mississippi, as reported by Mark Sudduth of HurricaneTrack.com in the area of Waveland. A lot of severe weather and very, very disturbing reports coming out. Let's get the latest now on Hurricane Ida. As of 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern. By the time you see this, there'll probably be a midnight update Eastern Time, so the winds might come down. But as of 11 p.m. Eastern Time, Ida was at 30.3 north, 90.7 west, winds 105, so still a Category 2 hurricane, very powerful. It's moving north-northwest, so it's starting that northward movement now at 9. That's a heck of a lot different than 16 or 15 miles an hour it was moving earlier, so it has slowed down its forward progress, which is not good news, especially when it comes to rainfall, but also when it comes to the winds. We do still have a hurricane warning from Morgan City, Louisiana to the mouth of the Pearl River. That includes Lake Pontchartrain, Lake Maurepas, and downtown New Orleans, all of you guys being affected by hurricane force conditions. We have a tropical storm warning from Intracoastal City to west of Morgan City, and from the mouth of the Pearl River over to the Florida Panhandle border, as well as those storm surge warnings continuing from Morgan City to Florida and Lake Borgne, Lake Pontchartrain, Lake Maurepas, and Mobile Bay. Those are the watches and warnings, but I got to tell you, the reports coming in are very, very disturbing. Here's the radar imagery out of New Orleans, and Laplace is right here. We are getting indications that there is a massive flood emergency in the city of Laplace, which I believe houses about 30,000 residents. And the Weather Channel was reporting 10 feet of storm surge from Lake Pontchartrain. So I don't know whether it's freshwater flooding, whether there's been some sort of levee breach of some kind in the swamp areas down there, or if it's just Lake Pontchartrain flooding. Either way, we're getting reports that the Cajun Navy's out trying to do rescues, and that people are pleading for help on Twitter. That's what we're hearing. Again, we don't know if these are rumors. Some of these news events, you have hurricane events like this, you're going to have things that turn out to be incorrect. But as of right now, based on that radar return, everybody in Laplace, Kenner, downtown New Orleans, Mandeville, Covington, Hammond, you guys all getting hammered right now from the right front quadrant of a very powerful Category 2 hurricane coming ashore earlier on Sunday as a high-end Category 4. There's the infrared satellite. Again, it's finally starting to degrade, but not that much. I mean, you could still obviously see where the eye of the hurricane is. Still a very good western side here. It's going to try and dry up, but it's going to bring heavy rainfall all the way up into the Tennessee and Ohio valleys, West Virginia, and then off the eastern seaboard by the time the weekend rolls around. But again, we are having reports that a roof was taken out at WGNO-TV in New Orleans, that a roof was damaged in an apartment complex in Metairie. We've had a report of a death in Ascension Parish from falling trees, and a lot of flooding on I-10. And these are just some of the reports we're getting. Again, there's so many, especially in this futuristic age of Twitter and social media, when we get a lot of information fast. Here's some more information from David Hammer on Twitter from WWL, saying that all 8 transmission lines that deliver electricity into the entire New Orleans area have been lost. Power outages, big time, hitting New Orleans. And that is not good, especially if those affect water pumps trying to pump the water out of the city. Here's that look at that radar again from New Orleans. And this is a report coming in from the New Orleans National Weather Service. As I mentioned, multiple reports of significant flooding in Laplace. The eastern eye wall of Ida is affecting the area now, and it's been in areas like Reserve and Laplace. You guys have been on that right front quadrant of the hurricane. So even though it's weaker, it's not 150, it's still 105, and those trees and the surge and the flooding are falling down and a lot of damage. And again, take whatever means are necessary to protect your life. So if you are watching this update on your phone and you have rising water, you need to get to the highest area in your house. Okay, if you need to do a vertical evacuation to your roof, to your attic, if you need to hammer and axe your way out of that roof, out of that attic to get to the roof, to wait for a rescue, you need to do whatever you can to stay away from that drowning water. That's a very, very dangerous situation going on there. Here's the radar estimates. You could see we're talking 5, 6, 7, 8 inches an hour, easy, maybe more than that, especially as the system has slowed down here right over that area of New Orleans, and that has created a flash flood emergency. This is a life-threatening situation. Seek higher ground now. This is valid until 1 a.m. Eastern, 12 a.m. Central Monday morning. Move immediately to higher ground. Avoid walking or driving through floodwaters. And again, this could affect almost 1 million people, including 263 schools and 28 hospitals. We've had reports of roof damage to hospitals. This flash flood emergency includes Laplace, but goes through Kenner and New Orleans as well. So everybody here on the south side of Lake Pontchartrain and Lake Maurepas, you guys need to be getting to higher ground and away from that water rise. The greatest flash flood risk over the next few days, obviously down there where the hurricane's hitting, but that will spread through Jackson, even near Nashville, and all the way up towards Louisville and Cincinnati as time goes on. By Wednesday morning, still a lot of wet weather here in the Ohio and Tennessee Valley. We had a report from a meteorological officer on a ship. The Seacor Eagle instrument recorded a sustained wind at Port Fourchon at 12:50 p.m. of 149 miles per hour and a gust to 172 as Hurricane Ida was making landfall. Now, I'm thinking this is probably going to be looked at in post-analysis as an indication that this indeed came ashore with 150 mile per hour winds and gusts well over Category 5 force. That might be one of the, if that's confirmed, which I have a feeling it will be, once that's calibrated, that will be one of the strongest winds I think I've ever seen recorded, certainly in the United States, but in any hurricane in the Atlantic ever. Hurricane Ida, God, what a storm. Good grief. The key messages tonight, number one, obviously, as I mentioned, life-threatening storm surge inundation will continue throughout tonight across portions of the coast between Burns Point, Louisiana to Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Overtopping of local levees outside of the hurricane and storm damage risk reduction system is possible where the local inundation values may be higher. I know from what I've heard, I don't know if any levees have been topped yet in the New Orleans area and southeast Louisiana. However, what I have heard is that a lot of them are dealing with a lot of high water, and so we got to watch that very carefully. Number two, the wind damage will occur near the core of Ida as it continues inland over the southeastern Louisiana area over the next few hours. Damaging winds, especially in those gusts, will spread inland near the track of Ida's center into southwestern Mississippi through early Monday, and those winds will likely lead to widespread tree damage and power outages. Still a Category 2 hurricane as of 11:40 p.m. right now when this update's being recorded. Number three, Ida will produce heavy rainfall tonight through Monday across Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. Considerable life-threatening flash and urban flooding. We're seeing that happen right now in Louisiana. And as Ida moves further inland, considerable flooding impacts are possible across the lower Mississippi Valley, the Tennessee Valley, the upper Ohio Valley, central Appalachians, and the mid-Atlantic through Wednesday. So again, guys, a disastrous Category 4 hurricane for southeastern Louisiana. I have a feeling the New Orleans metropolitan area, I'm not saying it's going to be a lower Ninth Ward Katrina situation, but as far as the damage here in this region of Louisiana, I'm thinking far worse than what they saw with Katrina. Katrina was 125 and weakening, made landfall here and up here. This thing was 150 and strengthening, made landfall down here, and has slowly creeped to the west of New Orleans, putting them in the right front quadrant. A very dangerous hurricane landfall. I'm Mike Nasel with the latest on Hurricane Ida sitting over the New Orleans area. Stay tuned to IPR 365 YouTube channel for continuing updates.